This is Rupert from RJ Blackwalls. Today we are going to rejoint a Purdey. This is quite an early gun. It's a 1920s gun. I would say it probably has the original joint pin in here, and the joint pin is this little bit here, and it runs through. It's a shaft that runs through. It's a part on the gun that wears on a regular basis. It's a bit like a car, you know, sort of thing. Doesn't get replaced on a huge amount, but you know, equivalent to like a car, you have your cam belt done every 70,000 miles. A gun sort of has a joint pin done at that sort of interval, and as the gun's always hinging on it, it wears out. And what you want it to do is you want the joint pin to be a good fit to the barrels, and it locks into the hook here. And after a period of time, it wears on the hook and it wears on the pin. Now, most guns are designed that you can increase the size of the joint pin a number of times to rejoint. And with this gun, because it's on its first time, we've got plenty of space to put a larger pin in. There are other ways of rejointing. Some people weld the hook, and sometimes you get to a stage where once the joint pin's made at its maximum size, you have to weld the hook, and then ideally what you do is you turn the joint pin down so you can then just keep rejointing off the pins again. But if you get into that stage, most guns are fairly worn out by that stage. So we'll remove the joint pin and we'll start to make a new one. Now, this gun is what we call, it's not massively off the face, but it's what we call, the barrels are sitting on the flats, and there is no bite. There's a couple of thou off the face, so we won't need to increase the joint pin massively, but we'll have to do, we'll square off the face a little bit, just make sure there's no bumps. After a period of time, the gun, as it's opening and closing, what you find is you find little divots, and you can just see little pockets here. You just want to make sure that, you know, occasionally they get damaged around the edges, and what you want is a nice flat surface for the barrels to be seated against. As you can see, you can start to see sort of bearings at the surface areas where there's high spots, which is we're starting to take those high spots away. So still need a little bit more stoning. Sort of getting a balance of taking enough off to make it flat enough to joint, but not going too crazy. Now we've just sort of coming to the end of sort of squaring off the face and just taking the bumps off. So we've got a nice smooth area to rejoint. I'm going to put the joint pin back in just quickly to check the distance off the face. Just give us a little polish down just to sort of uniform it. That's all nice and flat. There's light going through this gun. We can just try it with a couple of feeler gauges. So it's 0.8, 0.9 at the very worst point off the face in metric terms. So what I'll then do is I'll use that measurement and we'll double it, and we'll add a fraction to that, so we've got a bit of wiggle room, but we don't want to joint it too hard, and then that will push the barrels back against the face far enough to allow me to smoke it down and file and fit it back against the face of the gun.